Okay, good morning. Welcome to the Bucks County Board of Elections meeting, March 25th, 2024, 9 a.m. Call the meeting to order. First order of business is to acknowledge, in addition to our board, or substitution, I guess you could say, the Honorable Judge Brian McGuffin, welcome, appointed by the President Judge on the 14th of March. Judge McGuffin is here because Commissioner Marseglia is on the ballot in the spring, running for delegate, and so therefore he is here in her place until that election is certified. So we will move on here. Public comment. We have one name, Beth Roth.
Good morning, Beth Roth, Bedminster Township. I want to thank the Kelly and Jen for their support in the LNA testing. We've learned a lot, and it's been a great experience, and we're looking forward to it continuing. I want to thank Commissioner Marseglia for her kind understanding as I am trying to work my way through learning the law. So I was aware that I had made a mistake, and I did try to correct that. What I want to talk about today is the 2% or 2,000 vote recount. I want to understand that process. I understand that it's to be a random 2,000 vote. I'm assuming that it's 2,000 ballots that you will recount, since that would be the lesser of 2%. I want to read from Pennsylvania Statute Title 25, Elections and Electoral District, subsection 3031.17. This is current as of January 1st, 2022. The County Board of Elections, as part of the computation and canvass of returns, shall conduct a statistical recount of a random sample of ballots after each election using manual, mechanical, or electronic devices of a type different than those used for the specific election. The sample shall include at least 2% of the votes cast or 2,000 votes, whichever is lesser. We're hearing a lot in the news everywhere about the possibility of cyber attacks. And if that were to occur, and that's an if, we are wondering if, one, that statistical recount is open to the public, and if it is, then how do we sign up? And two, we're asking the board to do a hand recount. On the 6th of April, I am traveling to Indiana County to be trained in hand recounting. My plan is to come back to Bucks County and start to train volunteers. We plan to provide volunteers for hand counting. This 2,000 vote recount would be a great practice, just to see how it goes. And so we are requesting that recount be hand counted. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. It's the only comment we have in our public comments, so we'll just kind of address that question. First, keep in mind that the scanners that we use at the precincts and the high-speed ones here in this building are not connected to the internet. So even if there was some kind of a breach of internet security, it wouldn't have any impact on those machines or how they're used to process. The recount, basically, essentially, is an audit. I'll turn to Ms. Gale or Mr. Greaser, whoever wants to take it on, in terms of the process, how that works, and how it's decided, and et cetera.
Thank you, Commissioner. The 2% audit that occurs after each election, it's typically, we haven't had any public interest in that. It's not the most exciting thing. And just looking at the statute now, I'm not sure if public is allowed to attend. So let us do some research into that. We always tell the parties when it occurs, and but we haven't had the parties there either in the past. So I'll do some research and get back to you, Ms. Roth. Yep.
And Ms. Gill, just in terms of past practice and how, because obviously, we've done audits for last primary, last primary and the general and the specials that we've done as well. What's the usual process for 2,000 versus 2%?
So typically for our voter turnout, the 2,000 is the lesser amount than the 2%. That was different for our special election. We were able to take 2% because the turnout was not anything near what we normally see. So what we'll do is we take election districts from throughout the county, and we look at the turnout for there, and we will pull a few districts that their ballots equal 2,000 or a little bit over 2,000, and then we'll scan them from there. So we try to pick from the upper, central, and lower parts of the county, so it's not all just one group.
Okay.
In addition to that, just for reference, we do what's called a risk limiting audit, and that is a hand tally. So the Department of State will randomly select batches for our ballot manifest, and we're told which batch to pull, and then those are hand tallied.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that. Okay, we'll move on with our the rest of our business here. We do have meeting minutes from February 16th, 2024. Don't know, Judge McGuffin, if you're going to abstain because you weren't here? Or?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right, comments or questions regarding the minutes? No? Is there a motion to accept as presented?
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. And one
Abstain.
abstention, okay? All right, next we have consideration of logic and accuracy testing guidelines. Logic and accuracy testing is essentially what is done before each election. Essentially, a test is run through every machine we have to make sure, that, we basically have ballots marked in a certain way. We know what the tally should be. So we want to make sure machines spit out the result that they're supposed to spit out. If you think back, I guess it was like last year, maybe a year before, there was a situation in New York City where there were some machines that were sort of, had been tested for logic and accuracy but never cleared. And so they kind of started the election with votes already in the machine and had to stop it and go back and realize it was a mistake. So that's essentially, they had gone through the logic and accuracy but hadn't cleared the machines after they'd done that. So that's the process that's pretty standard. So Ms. Gale, you want to talk about what we're looking at here?
Okay, so the election code allows for certain groups of citizens within the county to register 50 days before an election to observe the logic and accuracy testing. We had 9 additional groups register with us, so we put together some guidelines just to follow so that they don't interfere with the work that's being done and our crew can kind of just keep working. It just covers no pictures, just address your questions directly to the spokesperson appointed for that day. So we just kind of wanted to have the board vote on them so that we can put them into policy for future elections.
Okay, thank you. Comments or questions regarding these proposed guidelines? No? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the logic and accuracy testing guidelines as presented?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, polling place changes. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, I see. I'll allow Ms. Gale to kind of go through these.
Okay, so Middletown Lower 6 and Lower 9 are currently at Burns Funeral Home. Based on a previous Board of Elections meetings, we went back through the minutes and we are going to present them for a permanent change to Emmaus Road Lutheran Church from the funeral home.
Okay. Any comments or questions regarding that change?
None.
Okay. All right, maybe we'll vote on all these. Is there any objection to presenting all these and then voting all of them as a batch?
Makes sense to me.
Okay. All right, you want to do the next ones?
Okay.
Please.
Middletown Upper 5 was previously at the Langhorne Methodist Church. We did have to find a new location for them for the November election, and we put them at the Core Creek Administration Building. That location is just not large enough. It doesn't offer adequate privacy for the voters. So we plan to move it to the Beechwood Neuro Rehab, which is part of the Wood School. They are willing to house us, and it's directly next door to where it was at the Langhorne Methodist Church. Northampton 12 is the Ohev Shalom. This election falls during Passover, so they have asked for us to move them for just this election. So this would be a temporary change to the Churchville Elementary School, and the plan would be to go back in November. Upper Makefield 1 and 3 was at Soul Finestone Elementary School originally. They were undergoing some construction, so we moved them to the Washington Crossing Historic Park. The construction is completed enough for us to use the building, and the park would like us to return to the school, so that would be a permanent change back to Soul Finestone.
Okay. Yeah, I know we did get some people who wanted us to stay at the historic park. They liked, they liked it better, but as you said, we had to sort of beg and plead for Washington Crossing Historic Park just to keep us there in November. They really didn't want us in November, and so they gave us a one more time. So we got to move back. So I do know the other concern was that for a while, all four Upper Makefield precincts were in Soul Finestone, and it could get very crowded, especially because people are coming in one entrance and going down one hallway, and it just got very, very, very congested. So there was concern that all four precincts were going to move back to Soul Finestone, but we're only moving two back, and the other two will stay at the church where they're at, right?
Yes, the church will allow us to stay there, which is good for considering we're in a presidential election, because they do use the same entrance, and it's 4 lines going down the hallway. So
Yeah.
we'll keep Upper Makefield 2 and 4 at the Ascension Lutheran Church.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions about any of these proposed changes? None. Is there a motion to approve all 6 changes as presented?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. And just lastly, I know that we talked a little bit about logic and accuracy testing, which was started last week. We did have to pause it. Ms. Scale, do you just want to comment on, we are going to start up again this week?
Yes, we paused the logic and accuracy testing because we did have to make an adjustment on our ballot. So we made the adjustment, but we're going to restart the testing so that way everything has been tested thoroughly as it currently is now, instead of moving forward and only testing from where we left off. So we will restart that later this week, and we will notify all of the groups that are affected.
Okay, all right, thank you, appreciate it. All right, if there's no other business before the board, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair?
Oh, sorry.
Just to clarify what the adjustment was, so one of the candidates, it listed their township on the ballot. It should have listed their county instead. So that was the reason we had to make the adjustment.
Okay, all right.
Before we adjourn, I noted that on the electronic screen, I think I saw it, that it's spelled my name B-R-A-I-N, as in brain. That's a nickname that nobody would ever pick up on. So I'm not offended by it, but I just want to let you know, it wasn't my idea to try to get that nickname started again. So, other than that, if there's no other business, I would move that we adjourn.
All in favor?